So here we are, we're back, and I am going to do a real intro because we do a lot of formal topics and, plan out episodes, but I just have a couple of things I want to just address in general with my friend Rich. So this
This is
is
off
going
the
to
cuff. I
be
don't know what's
a
coming.
fun, yeah, he doesn't know what's, but I thought
What
this
are we
would be
doing?
very funny to say. I was like, oh, why don't we just He's like, why don't you hit record? Okay, if that's what you want. So anyway, this one we'll call off the cuff, and it's just us kind of jamming and being buddies and appreciating each other because we were just talking about getting properties ready in the spring, and Rich was talking a lot more about the outside the curb appeal, because he's a land guy, he walks around, and it instantly made me think um, he he did a video for a beautiful listing he just put up on
I don't know
on
what's
An
coming.
what is it? You have no Handsome Brook Road. And he sent me the video, and I watched it with my husband, who also helps us with some of our marketing. So, we watched his video because he spends a lot of time. He does an amazing job of showing everything and talking about it. But what Rich really loves to do is walk land. So he's walking land and he's talking about the different features, and he says, and I know to Rich it's not it doesn't sound like something, but he says, we back here in this meadow and with the deciduous trees, and then he keeps talking. So my husband immediately starts laughing. He was like, like most people are maybe wouldn't even pick up on that, but it's on top of the last pod. He just said the sedimentary rock, and okay, all right, so there's another, right, and then it reminded me of when we were doing that drive that day, and you you just like randomly said, you know if trees had a choice, they would be
Oh yeah,
black.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
stand by
yeah.
that.
So
Well, that's that's my intelligent design counterbalance. Intelligent
correct.
design, we can yeah. Intelligent design would create like black vegetation because it would absorb all of the wavelengths of light. Why would you reject wavelengths of light that could benefit your energy? Like this is not smart.
This is why I love you, because like this is a conversation most people won't have. But in a listing video, we're talking about sedimentary rock and deciduous trees, and if I were vegetation, I would choose to be black.
See, what you don't understand is that like
I've triggered him.
maybe no. See, for me, I'm not trying to say I have some crazy lexicon, but like a deciduous tree, I think that's a known thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Um, but what I don't actually know, the reason I use it, Jess, is because I have a gap in my knowledge. I'm in the woods a lot, but I don't know all of the tree species, like by bark or leaf type. Even though I was a biologist in my earlier life, I never really. I'm not a naturalist. I'm more of a like a cellular biologist. But anyway, so I can't look in the woods and be like, we have birch. I know, I mean, birches are obvious, but like ash, maple, cherry, I don't know all those. So
Mhm.
I can't go in the woods and be like, this is a nice stand of cherry over here because I just frankly don't know. So I say deciduous because it's all encompassing. It means the
Right.
leaves fall off, right? And then the other ones that they don't, those are the pines or the coniferous trees.
A garnet. That's what I'm saying. So I love that, and you're smart. And maybe it's just me that's the dopey one. I just hear those words, and I'm like, wow, I wonder how that's landing. Like in a listing
Mm.
video, how is that landing? Like, are people like, yeah, those are deciduous trees, rock on? Like, I'm
Does it
gonna
make me
buy
sound
it.
like arrogant or pompous or something?
No,
What's
I
the
don't think it
intent?
sounds arrogant or pompous at all. I actually appreciate how smart you are. I feel like I learned from you a lot too. But I just thought that was just funny because it's definitely an ongoing trend of geology references that might be a little. They might be kind of stretching out of their little real estate videos a little bit. Like, is that wow? They're gonna buy this house because of those deciduous trees.
This is why we call the podcast the Living You podcast, Jess, because it's far more, we hope it's far more than real estate. It's
It
who
certainly
we
is.
are, it's who people are. We, at some point, would like to talk to other people on this pod and talk about what their life is like and what drives them. And if science slips into my everyday discourse because that's where my mind is, that's part of who I am. Guess
That's
what? And
great.
who I'm being. That's my authentic self.
Right.
I'm not going to censor myself and my deciduous, you know,
That's right.
terminology.
But when I send you a funny meme of the thesaurus and it's a T-Rex chasing people, you have to laugh. You're like, he was like, I sent him this stupid meme. He's like, I don't know why you sent this to me. Because most of your words, most people don't use, but that's okay. I think you should continue being you. And I was pointing out that we
Okay.
appreciated that, and it gave us a little chuckle. And but it made me very proud to be your friend because my friend is smart, and you should be friends with smart people, not stupid people. So now you can pick on me because I'm
Oh,
sure there's things.
I didn't prep anything.
Well, I know what you're gonna say. It's gonna be our my woo woo conversations.
Well,
You want to
we
tell
we
your
are.
friends
I
about.
consider you a close friend, and we talk a lot. We talk a lot about business, and we also talk not like every day, but when we are driving to like an event or or a seminar or something, we tend to have blocks of time where you get into like more life conversations. But you and I'm not going to get into like politics and stuff, but you definitely trend more in the conspiratorial, like ethereal. You believe in like forces and processes that are unbeknownst to mankind at our current understanding of things, and you think that they, we're all tied together by energies, and like there's a, and I'm not saying I don't believe in those things, but I don't spend any of my day on a regular basis thinking about them, right? If you want to have that conversation, I'm all ears, and I love a big open-ended conversation, but I have zero bandwidth for that in my everyday life. I don't go outside on my deck, have a cup of coffee, and like pontificate on, you know, the string theories and how many universes there are happening right now. I could in a certain environment, but that's not what's happening most times. I'm just living life and trying to like think about who I need to call next,
Correct. And
which is maybe an
those.
indictment on life, and that I am bogged down by the stress. This is a pivot, but it's a stress to run a business and to be
Mhm.
productive and to be a professional. And there's almost like, um, are you even allowed to have downtime? Are you allowed to do? We had a class yesterday that we both liked in different ways, and part of it was like finding ways to utilize other people to help you with processes that allow you to gain some personal time back, and and that makes you more energized to then do the parts that you love, which makes a ton of sense. But it's very hard as a small business owner. It's just a lot of pressure in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Man, I took that way darker than we started this, but anyway, it's not dark, just kind of the laborious, like mindset that I think most Americans have, whether you're a small business owner or you're a W-2.
Mhm.
It's a hard go. I said this a couple weeks ago. It's a hard go right now being
Yes.
alive as a, even us middle-aged, like semi-prosperous white Americans. Like we're about the most like like default easiest set point you could possibly start life, like maybe and ever in history, and we're still just like kind of semi-depressed and like this is hard. It's not great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, no matter where they are, or, who they are, or where, all of us face, and I'm going to get woo woo. This
Mm.
is what Rich calls woo woo, but all of us face obstacles, adversity, challenges, obviously. But in my own exploration of life, of the human condition, of spirit, of our connectedness, I feel like I've discovered that kind of that's the point, to be challenged. And you're going to be given only what you can handle. And I feel like our purpose is literally to learn how to navigate these challenges. And some people have many, many, many more challenges than we have. And they are loved, and they are blessed, and they are fighting a good fight, and they're learning through it, and there's pain through things like that, and my heart is with them. I think that's something that is important for me to communicate, is that I literally love people unconditionally. It's a very odd, there's people that piss me off. I'm not saying that I'm perfect in that way. I mean, people really make me angry, and people have hurt me, and I've let people hurt me, but there's people that are facing such great challenges, and the only thing I can take away from that is like, but what if they learn, right? What if they get through it, they survive it, whatever, they get past it, they get away from the abuser or whatever the situation is, or they get out of financial hardship, and what did they learn, and what can they do to never put themselves back in that situation, and how can they take control of their lives? And I want people to know that they have infinite power to do that. And I think that's the tough concept is reality feels so dense. It feels so real, and it feels like things are just happening to us. But the concept that we have to really master, which is something I actively work on every day, reading things and exposing myself. I love your face right now too. It's so
No,
good.
I'm listening. That's my pensive face.
Is learning, like, but how can I change, just my circumstances, right? So we look at it like, what are my goals? But I think if you level up from there and you say, how do I have to change my thinking? How do I have to change my belief system? Because if you believe that you're not good enough, then you're constantly going to bring into existence situations that remind you that you're not good enough. It's this whole thing about you really are creating your own reality. And I know Rich is a science guy, so I encourage you to look into those things like this, the quantum physics, and even just how the mind and the brain work, that we're interpreting a grid, we're interpreting a reality all very uniquely. And you have to understand that, like, when people do something to you, right, or something happens to you, you have a choice in how that's going to affect you. You have a choice in what that does next, and a choice in your reaction, and a choice in your reality. And if you don't like it, get away from it. Don't stay there. I think people stay in negativity because we've kind of almost been conditioned by negativity to be, that's where we thrive. Work hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it's not painful, then you're not doing anything. No, you have to see Jess's life. I am all about how can I be super comfortable today and let things happen. The sun is shining, the wind is blowing, and that's as much effort as I need to put in right now. And it doesn't mean I don't work. It doesn't mean I don't put effort towards things that I enjoy, but I don't have to work hard. I don't have to put myself out. I just have to believe that the effort I put in is going to give me the result that I want. And everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves that belief, and everyone deserves exactly what it is they think they deserve. So make sure you tell yourself you deserve something positive.
Yeah.
So that's all the woo-woo. So when Rich goes into his geology, I go into my quantum physics. So actually,
We have our safe spaces. Yeah, your safe space is
yes.
something that mine isn't. That's okay.
No, it's fine, but I will get you there one day. Mark my words. We will be on this podcast, and Rich will be like, "Dude, I watched this guy, and he was talking about the soul." One day we'll get where this piques your interest enough to geek out on it.
You know what's good? Here's one. This is sort of sciencey, but now here's the problem: is I come from a sciencey family. My father was a doctor, my mom was a nurse. My dad was a cardiologist, but he's also from Brazil, so he has this cute like accent. And so most of my perception of my father is that, like, I never saw him in a professional capacity. He went to work. He was a doctor. I don't know what he did. He just came home and whatever. But he has like this very thick Brazilian accent, a non-American accent. But he's a good storyteller. He's very engaging. But he's also he's older now, and he's fun. He's this cute short pot-bellied Brazilian man. He's great. But I never saw him as, like, I don't want to say not smart, because he's obviously intelligent, but I just never saw it. It wasn't in. There was no reason to be doctoring around the house, right? So.
Correct.
But he would travel, do speeches, obviously very, very high level cardiologist. Anyway, he now lives in this, like, what do you call it? It's like a assisted living home. My parents don't need it, but they're going to age in place in this place. So they live with a bunch of, like, their age and older people. If they like it, they get all their meals made. They get to go hang out and do all these, like, group yoga, whatever. I don't know. They like it. But the other day, my mom sent me a YouTube link. My dad presented a speech to like the people in the facility. I guess they have speakers come in every month or so to talk about something just to engage their minds. And so this month my dad was the presenter, and he starts this thing about this new molecule that's been discovered in science. It's called exerkines, and it's not brand new, but it's like a relatively new discovery of an actual new molecule, which doesn't happen every day. And at my first thought was, now Jess, I did study science and I like science, but I'm not plugged into it anymore. I don't read journals. I don't keep up with it. My first thought was, oh my God, did my dad like get scammed or found some like weird Facebook link? And then he like started to believe in like
Aw.
some woo woo like fake molecule. And now he's like,
Talk to
you know,
Jess.
like like what the concept is like these are molecules that your body produces when you do exercise, and they help
Hmm.
heal and whatever. And like I'm like, dude, Dad, what are you doing? Like, you fell for some weird modern scam thing. You're this, and then I'm like, no, let me check. Turns out, of course, my dad's freaking 100% right. Like, there's a whole body of recent research. It's brand new. He's on the cusp of like cutting edge research. He's like, this was published in January 2026. Like, he's no joke. I was just like, I was sitting there. I'm like, dude, my dad is a baller. He
He's a
has always
baller,
probably
yeah.
been a baller, and I never like fully
You
gave
just
him
know him as
credit.
dad.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm like,
That's
I just,
awesome.
yeah, it's just a perception thing, you know. I'm like, oh, this old man in this nursing home just kind of giving us weird speech, but he's like, no, guys, all the people in my home, like, this is why, literally, why you should keep exercising, even if it's 4 minutes of stretching. You're releasing this compound that is actually going to help you live longer and have more mental clarity. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Uh, anyway, it's just cool. It's just I'm proud of my
It's so
dad, right?
awesome.
And it's just a neat thing. But a
That's a
context,
good
I just
point.
never saw this human being for most of my entire life. It was cool.
But I love that that thought, and thank you for sharing that because you don't really talk about your family a lot. So it's we get a little nugget once in a while.
Yeah.
But that's such an interesting concept because how much do we really know about people, and how much we have again what they present to us in our very limited interaction or lens or whatever. Like people are icebergs. I always say we're like icebergs. You only really see what's above the water, but what's underneath, right? And what we really think about and what we really know, what we really value and who we really are, most of it is so unseen. Most people will never truly be seen. And there's a lot of, and even like what you did, it was jarring to you almost to see your dad in another context. Well, most people are like that. And our parents, it's funny that you reverse it the other way, but I've seen parents that are shocked when their kids grow up and their kids are really good at something like, oh, you can't do that because they still see
Yeah.
the little kid. They still
Yeah.
think you don't know anything and you're cute and they have to wipe your butt. But actually, your kids grow up and they're pretty talented, amazing people. And sometimes there's friction in, children parent relationships because the parent still sees their child as a child, but really they're this incredible, successful person. And we do that to people that we love. We keep them where we met them or where we like them or where we're comfortable with them. And it goes back to what I'm saying. Like we almost put the box around other people, even people that we love. So it's like breaking that down and letting people be who they are and giving them an opportunity to change. I think it's also why marriages break down. And I say this to my husband all the time, like, I just need you to know that I'm changing. I'm evolving, I'm changing, I'm on this journey, and I need you to know that I'm going through this. I literally check in with him, and he's like, oh, good, I am too. And sometimes we're actually on the same journey of conspiracy theories. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well,
But
but
let
that's an
people,
incredibly healthy thing to
yeah, you have
for
to let people change. You have to let them be different than who you think that they are. I love that so much because also we don't do well with change. People don't do well with change as well, and we're constantly changing, but we want things to stay the way we have them, and we fix our lives, and you make your bed and you pick out your colors, and you wear a certain type of clothes. Like, we stay in our boxes and we stay in our routines, and we're very regimented that way. Even if we're messy, that's also a pattern. But it's okay
yeah.
to break your pattern. Break your pattern. Let's break our patterns. Let's make a homework assignment. Leave a comment wherever you can find us. What are your patterns that you're looking to break? Yeah.
Yeah, perception and yeah, our expectations and perception of others is interesting.
Yeah, and we
And once
use
they're
that as a
set, they're hard to change, right? They're hard to it's hard to put someone in a different category or box. Like you, going back to like our life as agents, like if you have one negative interaction with another agent, that doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't even make them a bad agent. It
exactly.
just means they had a weird moment or whatever,
That doesn't
and wires got
define them
crossed.
as a
It
person.
doesn't define them
Correct.
exactly. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of jumping to conclusions in our
Always.
industry.
Absolutely. I love that you said that too, because I that's one of the things that I'm good at. When I said I love people, because there's always something to love. I literally find something, because I always try to get under the surface. Like, especially doing business, I don't want to just deal with another agent. In our class yesterday, she said, I don't want to be everyone's best friend. I just want to get the, and I'm like, pump the brakes. I
Oh,
want to
I
be
was
everyone's best friend. That was
see,
off
I put
message
my
for
hand up for that.
me.
I like
I know
that,
you're
but
like,
yeah,
I hate everybody. I'm kidding. I
no, no,
just
no,
want to
no,
get to
no,
enjoy the,
that's
I know
not
you don't
fair.
hate. I know, I'm teasing. But yes, my whole thing is like, what am I going to discover about this person? Like, people are interesting to me, and I want to know. Like, I've had people very close-lipped and not really give me a lot in a showing, and they're very, and I still just keep talking to them, and I just keep loving on them, and I just keep engaging them like a little kid that like doesn't get that they don't want to talk to me. I don't get that they don't want to talk to me. I won't accept that, because I'm also not going to change who I am for someone else. And I know that there's mirror matching, and I know that you don't want to make people uncomfortable and be like this nut job in front of everyone. You also, yes, want to acclimate into your relationships and conversations, but I push it. I push it. I push that line, because I want to be who I am, and I want to be very comfortable, and I actually want to be friendly with you. I want to have a friendly, positive interaction. And you may be hell bent on, and not you, Rich, but the person I'm dealing with may be hell bent on having a negative interaction with me right now. It's not happening. I'm gonna just continuously put an endless flow of effort and love into chipping away at your attitude or your negativity or whatever issue you have today, and showing you that I'm different, and I'm going to expect a different result. 9 times out of 10, people do relax around me, and they go, "Oh, okay, I can curse now." It's like the biggest one. I can curse now. Or like, "Oh, I feel comfortable now." Whatever it is, like, people do come around eventually, because I think they're clenched. Like, I was talking about something else this morning, just being clenched and holding on, and I got to do this, and I'm worried I got to get this today, and I have to get this today, the stress. Like you were talking about, stop, breathe, right? What was my mantra from yesterday? Breathe, don't resist, and let things unfold as they will unfold. Yeah, calm down, chill out. Everything's going to be fine. You're okay. I'm okay. How do we have fun right now? How do we enjoy each other's presence right now? And I want to enjoy everyone that I come into contact with. I don't want to have any negative interactions ever again. I would make everyone my friend, and we're all happy. That's It might be a weird thing, but that's literally my goal.
I don't know if we want to go on too long, but Jess, have you ever done like, do you consider yourself an extrovert on a or an introvert, like on that scale? I mean, have you done like
It's
the Myers
wacky.
Briggs type deals and stuff like that?
No, I haven't, but I do consider myself to be an introvert, but I
So
do get
weird
my
because you're so
energy. I
talkative
know.
around people.
I get my energy from, but it's how I create safety. So if we're like talking about ourselves, so I was bullied, and anyone that's being bullied or was bullied, like, it's awful. I'm with you. I feel you. And it's the worst existence ever, to just try in your most formative years to get ahead, or just go to friggin' school, or just like, you just don't want this today, and just be just destroyed emotionally every day. And in some cases, physically every day. I get it. So I was bullied. So I built this defense mechanism, which, if I go to these people and I am friendly and I can provide some kind of value to them, or I can make them like me, they can't bully me anymore. So it was a survival mechanism that I just sort of kept and liked. It's like, I go out of my way to make everyone want to be friendly towards me, so that I know that I'm safe.
Hmm.
It's literally a very selfish mechanism. And I
Interesting.
identify my psychology. Yeah, but I want you to be my friend and I want you to like me. So there's no chance that you can hurt me. The issue with that is when relationships do break down, because they do, or there's challenges, I am very, very, very hurt because I have put even more effort than the other person realizes into building a relationship where I can't be hurt in this relationship. I feel safe now coming out and being fully myself so that when it breaks down or if it breaks down, it's really, really bad for me and really hard for me because that little girl that was bullied, there she is again. And but I literally think I've created this, mostly out of safety. And I say that I want to create a tribe of people
Yeah.
around me that feel the same way, that just want to be accepted, loved, nurtured, positive relationships, supported. That's why coaching was perfect for me. And I am inside of this hug of people around me that I'm safe in. I'm just creating safety. And I think it's a very relatable concept for a lot of people.
I think in our other recording, I think I was saying something about how, like, part of I'm a little bit more overtly strategic, I think, in most things in life than maybe you are. But like I said, something along the lines of, I like to get ahead of the curve or anticipate that thing that could be a problem. And you're almost saying I talk a lot to people or I connect with them so that I can almost like
Same thing.
prevent them being mean to me. Or like, because if we're
But it's the
friends, then
same.
they're not going to be mean or something along those lines.
Correct. But I'm also hardwired for caution. So I did the strength finders. Oh my gosh. Do strength finders. Oh my gosh. We should do it again. And it tells you like your profile, like what type of personality you have. And mine was so stupid spot on. It was better than the disc. It was better than Keller Williams KPA strength finders. I did it with my whole leadership team in the Jackson Heights office, and I discovered that I'm hardwired for caution. It's not that I'm negative. I'm going to always look for what can go wrong. So I have that inherently, and I'm trying to avoid pain and I'm trying to avoid myself being bullied today. So it's like layers and layers deep in my whole psyche of like, I need to find if there's any pitfalls. So I go out of my way to build bridges. I go out of my way to build an environment where I'm like in a padded room. Literally, that might be a visual. But I try to pad my life where there's no way there's going to be any harm that comes to my little heart.
You know what? I think I get along. I'm an introvert, clearly. Like I gain my energy being alone or quiet. And it took me a lot of my life to develop into the social capabilities that I have now, which I can hack it. I can make it. I do connect with people pretty well,
Hmm.
but it is still, I know, not far under the surface. I'm just running the program that lets me be
Hmm.
social, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm aware of how computer my brain is. We all are, by the way, but like having studied neuroscience, I get that a little bit more. But
Hmm.
still, where was I going with that? I think what I was when I oh the kind I get along with most personality types in general. The people that I truly don't understand, Jess, are people that are like really impulsive. They make big decisions like without taking a beat. I remember it wasn't long ago. I was it was a different context. I want to get into that context, but someone I knew was like they took their car in for like a service. It was like oil change or something pretty minimal, and they came out with like a new car. And I was like, "What now? Like how did that how did that happen?" Cuz there's not a single chance in the world that I'm going to go in for an oil change and walk away with a new car. Not a single effing chance. Like what happened? How did that go? Like
I love that. I have to say that that's something that could happen to me.
there's no way.
There's no way. I love that. I mean, so a lot of times I get it. You got to think things through. You have to weigh options. You got to weigh it out. Like, does this make sense? And maybe make a spreadsheet and a graph and like really figure out if this just makes the
I
most
did
sense
have some
for
car
Rich.
work done last year that was like about 15% of the cost of a new car, and I was like, you know what? I could just like,
Right.
but I wasn't close to making that decision. But I was like, dang, that's an expensive service.
Yeah.
But it was like long term anyway. But it was just like
That's so
that's
funny.
10%, fifteen
That's a,
percent towards a new car.
that's so far out of your comfort zone. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm, in I don't think I'm impulsive, but I think my husband would say I am. I mean, just moving up here, right? Uprooting my whole life from Queens and moving to upstate New York. But I go and don't be shocked. I go on my gut. I go on how my heart feels. And my heart is what steers me because I feel like if I'm not happy, then why would I stay in a situation where I'm not happy? If my heart hurts or my heart's like, this isn't for me, I'm gonna listen to it. I actually am because at the end of the day, I don't want the extra stress. I don't want the pain, right? I'm looking for comfort. I'm looking for happiness. I'm looking for friendship. I'm looking for joy. I'm looking to, want to celebrate life as much as possible and not have adversity. So it's okay to do that. For me, I think it's okay to seek out happiness on a daily basis. And it's like, oh, that didn't bring me happiness. I won't do that again. Or that life is going in a direction I don't want it to go in. It started to feel really stressful in the city, and the city's dirty. And there was so many people I couldn't connect to, and so much bad energy that I was, as an empath, absorbing. I was just surrounded by things I couldn't really weather. And some people can turn that off and like just go through, the busyness of the city and not have an issue. But I need to be in green grass. I need to be grounding. I need to be near my creek, my overflowing creek, near water, have the energy flowing and moving around me. And that is the introvert part of me that then heals in that environment. But I get my energy from going and connecting to people. So once I feel full, I'm happy on my farm, then I can go find people. Hey, you want to be my friend?
I don't know where we're at with this, but your Wi-Fi totally blitzed you out for me for like that last couple seconds.
Oh,
So
I
I,
actually, the dog was having a nightmare, so I decided to mute myself and wake
oh,
her
I couldn't
up.
even tell what was going on. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should mute this before we start having howling. No, that was great though. This is what living you is about because we talked about living rich and
Yeah, my Brazilian dad doctor
yep.
and his insatiable thirst for medical knowledge.
I mean, but if he has it to share it in that environment, I was thinking too, which I didn't say, but like that's the perfect environment for him to talk to people later in life, like how to stay healthy. That's such a beautiful contribution he made to his community. Like that's really awesome. It also shows a very strong character as well. Like he can be smart, but also, he cares about the people around him and will help them if he can. So I love that. That is what spoke to
He's a
me.
smooth operator too, man. Like the first 2 minutes, he was just kind of smooth talking, thanking the people. Like he was running the show. It was so cool. And I was thinking because I've told you before, like kind of socially have evolved, right? I was very shy, and I've gotten better and better and better. So like by the time I'm 80, like I'm just gonna be like up in front of a crowd, be like,
Oh
"Thank you
yeah,
so much,
you.
Melissa, for introducing me," and like whatever.
Melissa. Oh, oh. She's going to be our MC at some point. No, that's amazing. And probably you guys are very similar. Probably there's a lot
Yeah,
of,
he's definitely an introvert too. Yeah.
yeah, but probably you could get up and you can have a talk like that as well, just like he did. And you're probably very similar in that way. So that's awesome. That's a good role model.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, you said a lot in there that I was gonna add on to, but you mentioned your empath stuff, and we can do it another time. But that's the other part of your that does not I don't understand that at all. You walk into a
Hmm.
room or a house, and you're like, ooh, something happened here
Vibe.
or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know, I
Vibes.
see a cabinet.
Well, it's funny because I actually don't allow myself to feel more. And some people, have very amazing gifts like mediums or like, they really can feel energy. I actually don't really, again, I'm hardwired for caution. So if I had that ability, I definitely have stifled it because I don't want to talk to grandma today who's been dead for 20 years. I really have no time for this. I don't want to be exposed to it freaks me out. So I feel like I probably could, at some point in my life, open up a little bit more and really feel things. But there's definitely been houses I go into and you can feel the energy. But more so with my clients, like I can feel their energy and I can read them really well. I think that's what makes me really good at sales and gives me a very high level of customer service. My reviews are stellar, by the way, all 5 stars, because I hear what they're not saying. I feel what they're not telling me, and I can respond to them on a deeper level that they don't even really realize. I read people as I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, so this person has this personality, or this is going to be important to them, and I know I probably shouldn't make a joke, about that. Like that seems like an important, like I'm constantly reading and processing information like the computers we are, processing information on how to win in this relationship again, because that's hardwired again for my survival. How do I win in this relationship? Not make an off-color joke or not say the wrong thing or not you make a comment that hurts them or upsets them or pisses them off. So I'm always reviewing everything that is being said and is being done so that I know how to adjust my words, my behavior, and my approach, which is also exhausting, by the way, which is also exhausting.
Well, but that's
And it's
self-editing
exhausting
or
for you
being
too.
being reflective enough to be capable of self-editing is, I think, a huge skill. And maybe this is where we got to wrap this up. But I mean, I think that's a skill that maybe we're to some degree losing or something like that. I don't know where I'm going with that, but like temperament, like self-control, knowing that what I'm saying is not connecting or is even pushing someone away, or those are things that that's social currency, is being able to understand how what you're saying is landing on the people around you.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is like how are you making the other person feel right now? Because I want that other person to feel good. I want every interaction I have that when I walk away, that person's like, oh, that was a nice interaction, and I leave them very positively. So I work very, very, very hard on that. Where you're right, we're losing that. People are just they're them, and then they kind of move through the frame and then they're out again. And they really know how they affected the people around them? I might be too aware of it, but it's definitely good to have some awareness of how you're landing and breathe. Don't resist and let things fall into place. Sometimes you're doing too much. And I'm learning that because I am doing too much. I know that I'm doing too much, but that's like the lesson I'm working on right now is breathe. Don't resist, don't fight, don't clench, don't edit, and just let the next thing unfold without me having my stamp on it at all. Because a lot of times things are going to be just fine. It doesn't require you to put in effort in every moment. And that's my next kind of evolution of, what I'm working on now.
Well, you continue to change, like you said earlier. I think we all do.
Changing.
Whether we're aware of it or not is the question. Yeah.
That's right. And you will not even know who I am by next week.
This is the fear. This happens every whatever. Every other week there's a new life plan. I'm like, Jesus,
oh yeah,
I gotta deal with now.
Yeah, but listen, I've been doing this for about 6 months now. This is great. I hit this 6-month mark of like staying in and being dedicated to the plan. But again, it has to feel good. So if it continues to feel good, then we're in good shape. If it doesn't feel good, then why should we do it?
On that note, Jess, I have to wrap it up. Thank you so much for this bonus time today. I don't even know if we're going to call this an episode or what.
This is an episode. It's 39 minutes of like yumminess of just off the cuff who we are, living us. We're going to call this one Living Us. Thank you for staying on our podcast and coming back, and stay tuned next week for more real estate things. But in the meantime, enjoy Living Us with Jess and Rich.